हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू लर्निफाई। स्वागत है आपका लर्निफाई के यूट्यूब चैनल में। सो इन टुडेज लेक्चर वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी। सो फार वी हैव डिस्कस्ड फंडामेंटल राइट्स, right to property and land schedule. So before starting the lecture, this is my brief introduction. I am Hansraj Kumawat. I'm JRF from Public Administration. I have written two UPSC mains, and I have done my masters from Public Administration only, and my bachelors are from Bachelor of Business Management, and I have more than 5 year experience in this field. So let us start with today's lecture, Directive Principle of State Policy. So under which articles these directive principles are discussed? So from Article 36 to Article 51, these DPSPs are discussed in our Constitution. Which part? Part 4. So these directive principles are discussed in Part 4 of our Indian Constitution. So we have to remember this Part 4 and Article 36 to 51. These are asked in examinations in PCS as well as IAS examination. Okay, so from where these DPSPs are taken in our Constitution? DPSPs are taken from Irish Constitution, and in that Constitution, Irish Constitution borrowed from Spanish Constitution. Okay, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar called these DPSPs novel feature of our Constitution. Okay, so these are some codes which can be used in mains examination. Okay, so these DPSPs and fundamental rights along with preamble of our Constitution makes the philosophical part of our Constitution, philosophical framework of our Constitution. If any question asked from this that what is the philosophy or what is the philosophical structure of our Constitution, so basically we have to write about preamble and fundamental rights, fundamental duties and DPSPs. Okay, Granville Austin, a constitutional expert, he called directive principle of state policies the conscience of our Constitution. Conscience यानी आत्मा है. What is this? Atma, conscience of our Constitution. These DPSPs. Okay. So what are the features of these DPSPs? Guiding ideals. First of all is guiding ideals. To whom these DPSPs guides? Directive principle of state policy guides the state. State means not state government. State means the authority. State. Okay. So these principles guide the state in running day-to-day administration. Okay. Like legislative, executive, and administrative bodies. To whom these DPSPs guide? To legislative, to executive, and to administrative bodies. Okay. And next one, inspired by 1935 Act. The Government of India Act 1935 is the backbone of our Constitution. Okay. So these DPSPs are inspired by 1935 Government of India Act. Okay. And Dr. Ambedkar described them as instructions for the legislature and executive. Legislature and executive as well as administrative bodies also. Next, comprehensive programs. So these DPSPs states a comprehensive program for the state, like economic, social and economic, political and social programs for justice, liberty and equality. Okay, which are stated in preamble of our Constitution. And these DPSPs promote the idea of welfare state. This we have to remember, welfare state. This has been asked in prelims question, that welfare state is the objective of DPSP, fundamental rights, fundamental duties. This kind of question have been asked in past DPSP prelims examination. So we have to remember the welfare state. The idea behind these DPSPs are welfare state. Next one is non-justifiable. Okay, so these DPSPs are not justifiable. What does this mean? This means we cannot go to court if someone violates these DPSPs. Okay, someone means state and any private person. If someone violates these DPSPs, we cannot go to court and we cannot appeal to Supreme Court and High Court. Okay, so these are non-justifiable, unlike our fundamental rights. This is stated in Article 37 of our Constitution. Next feature is aid in constitutional interpretation. So while interpreting the Constitution, Supreme Court takes into account these these DPSPs. Sorry guys, there is a procession going on. Okay guys, so let us discuss. Uh, so where are we? We are discussing point number 5, aid in constitutional interpretation. So while interpreting the Constitution, Supreme Court takes into account these DPSPs. So it can be considered reasonable under Article 14 and 19 to afford the constitutionality of any law or any rule. Okay. Next, classification of the directive principle of state policy. So in our Constitution, DPSPs are not classified in any kind of classification. There is no classification in our Constitution. These are classified by the political scientists or political thinkers. Okay, so there are three types of directive principle of state policy and DPSP. There are three types of DPSP, namely socialistic, Gandhian, and liberal intellectual DPSPs. Okay, so this will not be asked in examination that what type of DPSPs and classify the DPSPs. This type of questions will not be asked in examination, but for the understanding purpose, these are discussed. Okay, the socialistic principle. Don't confuse in socialistic, Gandhian, and liberal intellectual. Just think what are the socialistic features of any constitution or any ideology. So socialistic features like equality, liberty, these are types of socialistic features. So these principles reflect the idea of socialism. The socialistic principle reflects the idea of socialism and aims to create a welfare state. What type of state? Welfare state, एक कल्याणकारी राज्य बनाना है ना, जिसमें स्टेट का क्या पर्पज होगा, एक कल्याणकारी राज्य बनना है ना, जिसमें ये स्टेट will do welfareism. Okay, so these principles like promote welfare. Example, social justice, economic justice, and political justice. Like social, economic, and political inequalities, reducing the social, political, and economic inequalities in income, status, and opportunities. We have to remember line by line. Okay, this can be asked in examination like PCS and UPSC, that identify these, which are from these are DPSPs and fundamental duties and fundamental rights. So we have to identify these from the given question. So we have to remember this from line to line, line by line. Okay. So Article 38 discuss about the welfareism and social economic equality. And means ending the social, economic, and political inequalities. Next, provide livelihood. The main objective of DPSP is to provide livelihood, adequate livelihood to the citizens of India, like fair distribution of resources, prevent wealth concentration. Okay, wealth concentration from in the hands of some powerful people. So ensure equal pay for equal work. This is our DPSP. These type of DPSPs are used in quoting in examination, like GS3 and GS2. So we have to remember these type of, sorry guys. Okay, so where are we? Here. Ensure equal pay for equal work, protect workers and children, and support healthy development of children. Article 39 discuss about the workers, children, and support healthy development of the children. Okay, next. Next is ensure legal aid. To promote equal justice and provide free legal aid to the poor, this provides under Article 39A. Okay, so legal aid like NALSA, we will discuss in the upcoming lectures like NALSA, and state legal authority, district legal authority. This type of mm, authorities we will discuss in upcoming lectures. Sorry guys. Next, guarantee work and support. So under Article 41, discuss secure the right to work, education and assistance in case of unemployment, old age, sickness and disability. In this type of situation, state has to support the citizens like in old age. So our state provides old age pension. Okay, unemployment. Next, human working condition. To provide human working condition to the worker, this is a DPSP under part 4 of our constitution. Next, living wage. So right now we have minimum wage concept in our India, but apart from this minimum wage, living wage should be there. So under Article 43, living wage is discussed. Next, worker participation, participation in decision making. Okay, participative management. This is discussed under Article 43A of DPSP. Next, improve health and raise the level of nutrition, standard of living and improve the public health. This is discussed in Article 47 of our DPSP. Next, sorry guys, there is some technical problem here, please bear with me. Next is Gandhian principles. So what are the features of Gandhian principle? What are the ideas of Gandhiji? These are the principles of Gandhian principles. These principles are based on Mahatma Gandhi's idea and represent his vision for India's development, like village panchayat, cottage industries. Okay, to achieve Gandhi's goals, some of his concepts are included in DPSP. First one is organized village panchayats. This is done in 73rd Amendment 1992. Village panchayats, okay, these are given constitutional status by 73rd Amendment. So this is discussed in Article 40 of our constitution. Next, promote cottage industries. Cottage industries, small industries like MSMEs. Okay, so these cottage industries are encouraged in Gandhian principle, and this is discussed in Article 43 of our constitution. Next, support cooperatives. Cooperatives यानी सहकारी, जिन्हें क्या कहते हैं हिंदी में, सहकारी संगठन. These cooperatives like Amul, we have to encourage, means state has to encourage these type of cooperatives like Amul. Promote information, independent functioning and democratic control of cooperative society. This is discussed in Article 43B, and this is added by 97th Amendment 2011. Next, help weaker section of the society like SC/ST and OBCs. So state has a duty to support the weaker section of the society, this is discussed in DPSPs. Okay, this is a directive to the state that state should encourage the weaker section and to improve their educational and economic condition. Next, when harmful substances like alcohol and drugs. Okay, so Gandhian principles discuss that states should prohibit alcohol and drugs that are harmful to the health, apart from using as medicines and all. Next, protect cattle. So this impose a duty on the state that to protect the cattle and ban on the slaughter of cows, calves and other cattle and work toward improving their breeds. This is discussed in Article 48. Next is liberal intellectual principles. So these principles reflect the ideas of liberalism and guide the states in uniform civil code. This is a very hot topic nowadays. So we will discuss in detail in upcoming lectures about uniform civil code, like pros and cons of this uniform civil code and what should be the ideal condition, what should be the ideal condition. We will discuss about this uniform civil code in upcoming lectures, so that if any question is asked in mains, we can write in maximum 250 marks. So this is discussed in Article 44. We have to remember these articles because while writing the conclusion, and we have if we can quote these in mains exam. Next, child care education. So provide childhood care and education for children until they turn 6-year old. This is discussed in Article 45, and from here only comes the RTE, Right to Education, 2009. Next liberal principle is modernize agriculture. So we have to modernize our agriculture, promote modern and scientific method of farming and animal husbandry, like using drip irrigation system, micro irrigation system, climate smart agriculture, this type of things. Next, protect environment, safeguard the environment, forest and wildlife. This is discussed in Article 48A. From here only comes the Environment Protection Act 1986. Preserve national monuments. National monuments, protect national monuments, places and objects of artistic and historic values that are of national importance, like Red Fort, India Gate. We means these principles impose duty on state, that state has to protect. State must protect these monuments. Okay. Next is separate judiciary from the executive. In history, this is discussed by Montesquieu. The executive should be different from legislative and judiciary. So this is discussed in Article 50 of our Constitution. To ensure the judiciary functions independently from the executive in public services. So the separation between judiciary and executive should be there. Next, promote international peace. International peace. Every state should respect the sovereignty of other states. Okay, and maintain good relations with each other, uphold international law, and settle disputes through arbitration between or among the nation only. This is discussed in Article 51, and this is the example of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. Okay, guys. So that is all for today. we will discuss the importance and other things in the upcoming lectures. So this is all for today. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.